Hey there guys, it's Tina and I'm back. And guess what? It is time for another car chat. Alright, here's the thing, okay? Things are happening on YouTube and it's all dramatic and I just needed to come to the car and talk about it because I cannot. This is a fitting topic for a car chat. So you already know from the title, we're talking about JACLYN Hill and her video that she posted a couple of days ago now. Yeah, I'm not the one to rush in and make content. I'm just not, okay? I'm not a drama channel. I'm not a commentary channel, but I like the mess, so we're gonna talk about it. So JACLYN Hill posted a video recently, and Tish, yes you, Tish reached out to me. She DM'd me on Instagram. She was like, girl, I need you to talk about the JACLYN Hill video. And I'm like, what JACLYN Hill video? I'm like, I'm not subscribed. I don't care, you know. And I go over to YouTube and check it out. And lo and behold, there's a new video from JACLYN 3 days ago. It says, the title is, I'm closing my brands. She looks gorgeous in the thumbnail in a gray hoodie. And I'm like, Lord of mercy, Lord of mercy. So I watched this video, right? And it's all about her closing her brands, JACLYN Roxanne, which is the jewelry line, and then Cozy, which is the, what is that? Leisure brand with, what does she have over there? Blankets and socks? Like, whatever it's about, right? But that's the video. That's what she's talking about. I'm like, let me hear this mess, right? So we're gonna go ahead and watch the video together, and I'm going to have my commentary because that's what I'm doing. It's 17 minutes and 45 seconds. It's not that long. I have a limited battery life, so we're gonna see if I can get through this video before my battery dies, and I'm gonna play it on 1.5 times speed. I've already watched the video. This is just for you guys and for me to share my reaction to the things that she's saying. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna pull it up.
Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can see by the title, is gonna be very different. It's taken me a while to get to the place to have the confidence and the vulnerability to sit down and have this conversation with you guys, but I wanna talk to you about what's been going on in my personal life and behind the scenes of the camera that has led to me making the decision on my own to shut down both JACLYN Roxanne jewelry and my Cozy comfort line. This is a very difficult conversation for me to have.
First of all, gorgeous. No one can take that from JACLYN, all right? I need drinks. I need a beverage. No one can take away the fact that JACLYN Hill is gorgeous. Oh my god, her makeup is stunning. It's understated. She has her hair up in like one of those half up, half down ponytail situation. The jewelry is understated. Usually she's like blinged out from the top down, you know? And then she has a gray hoodie on and like a black tank top. Let's analyze this, right? So the attire is very deliberate. The makeup understated, gorgeous, gorgeous. The sweater oversized, the gray hoodie, like, what are we doing here? She's sitting in her closet with all her luxury items behind her. She has her branding, but this is the background that she has been using for videos. I went through to see like the other thumbnails, and this is the background that she's been using for other videos. So I don't find that sketchy or anything. She didn't try to do a performance like Jeffree Star on his gold couch, you know? She's doing this video where she normally films, so I think that makes sense. And the way she's speaking, let's get into that. When she starts the video, it sounds very scripted, first and foremost. It sounds scripted. I'm gonna play it back. Let's start over. Cause I need to.
Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can see by the title, is gonna be very different. It's taken me a while to get to the place to have the confidence and the vulnerability to sit down and have this conversation with you guys.
You see how she says the confidence and the vulnerability. That word is gonna kill me. Vulnerability, all right? She's using like catchphrases, these key terms. And I want you to pay attention to this, okay? This is a very scripted video, but she's playing it so it doesn't sound as scripted, right? But she has notes. They're notes, okay? At least talking points. She is very calculated in this video, right? So she has the confidence and vulnerability to do this video. Is very difficult for her, okay?
Guys, but I want to talk to you about what's been going on in my personal life and behind the scenes of the camera that has led to me making the decision on my own to shut down both JACLYN Roxanne Jewelry and my cozy comfort line. This is a very difficult conversation for me to have, although I am ready just because I have finally, over the last couple of months, had to really admit my wrongs and where I personally fucked up as a creator.
Hold up, pause a minute. Notice, she says a lot has been going on behind the scenes in her personal life and behind the camera that, you know, made her come to this decision that she made on her own. She's making it a personal decision. Like, she decided as JACLYN Hill to shut down the brand. She's not saying it was because of anybody else. It was her decision, all right?
As a creator, as an owner, and as a CEO.
As a owner and as a CEO. 3 things.
Happy or depressed, I tend to put on a happy face and act like everything is totally okay. Later, I come out and I say, oh, I had a drinking problem, or oh, I was depressed, or this, that, or the other, and it tends to shock people.
You see how she's bringing it back to I'm vulnerable, right? So she's saying, yeah, I tend to put on a brave face. She's trying to be relatable because a lot of us do that, right? We put on this brave front for everybody else. If something's going on in our lives, we're like, yeah, I'm good. Everything's cool. I'm fine. But deep down, you're depressed or you're going through something difficult. Here she's admitting to a drinking problem and she's saying she puts on this brave face and then she comes out and admits to these things and then it's a shocker. So then people are like, is she lying? What's going on? So she's framing it by saying, no, I've just been putting on a brave face. So I'm not lying. I'm not trying to use this as an excuse. Like, I'm not just pulling this out because I want sympathy. It's just that that's my coping mechanism. I put on a brave face, right?
And that really is the story of what's going on right now. I'm gonna rewind you guys because I wanna let you in a little bit on my life and what's actually going on and what's led up to this decision. This all goes back to JACLYN Cosmetics. This all goes back to my love for makeup, and this all goes back to my lipstick launch. I know I'm already getting emotional and it's still the beginning of the video, but this is a very emotional topic and I'm sick of acting like it's not, and I'm sick of making jokes about it because that's a way that I'm gonna drip. It's just a way for me to process and cope with the trauma that it's caused me. It's just a coping mechanism.
You see, again, she does the coping mechanism situation. Now here, she's crying on camera. It's another way to manipulate your audience, right? Remember, we're filming, we're editing, so we can edit out anything that we want. If we didn't want to leave that crying part in our videos, we don't have to. I think I've cried once on camera, and that was during a discussion about my divorce, right? And I was just talking about like the whole situation, and I got a little teary. Now, I made a joke about it during the video. That's not a coping mechanism. I was just making a joke about it because I don't cry on camera, right? I do the whole Capricorn tough girl thing, right? But I'll tell you, behind the scenes, I refilmed that part of the video without the crying, right? So after I'd like composed myself, like I was crying on camera initially, like the first take, and then I composed myself, and then I refilmed that part, right? And so I would have it for editing if I wanted to edit it out. And during that part, while I was editing, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it in. I am crying. It's genuine. It's not a big deal. So she left that in on purpose. Don't think she didn't. But I don't think she's faking the tears. I don't think these are crocodile tears. I think this is legit. I mean, she's closing her brands. She's mentioning things that were difficult for her. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, she's still human. So she went through some shakeup with her brand when she did the lipstick launch. It was a very like stressful time, and I can imagine like what she went through. So if she's tearing up, I don't think this is a lie. I think it was deliberately left in the video to show that she is vulnerable and that she is emotional about it, because she could have edited it out, but she kept it in, which I don't think is necessarily completely manipulative, even though it is, right? It is manipulative, but at the same time, I just think she was trying to be open and honest, all right? So I don't think this part was as calculated as it seems, even though there's a little bit of manipulation to it.
Ugh. But there's actually nothing funny about it whatsoever. There's nothing funny about the way I handled it. There's nothing funny about what came of it. Growing up,
she didn't need to leave that part in. You see how she was, oh my God, because she's saying that she makes jokes about like what happened with the lipstick launch. That's her coping mechanism. Like she just laughs it off and makes it seem like it's not a big deal, you know, haha. Like when she wore the canceled Halloween costume. Even most recently, she posted on TikTok or on Instagram or something about how she's still using her contaminated lipsticks, which were contaminated. There's no, you know, quote unquote, they were contaminated, but she made a joke about it really recently. So she's still continuing to joke even though she had this realization. So if you realize that you were doing it, then why did you keep doing it? And you're doing it for content. Why? Because it's something that you're filming, you're editing, you're uploading, and then you're posting. Like there's so many steps for this to go live. Like, at what point did you not say, you know what, maybe this is not the best look? I realize I've been doing this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, when did that happen?
All of my dreams revolved around makeup. My first dream was that I wanted to be a makeup artist and I wanted to open up a beauty salon where we offered makeup, hair, and then photography in the back. So you could get your full glam and then you could have photos of your full glam so that you would be able to remember that special moment forever. Then I got a job at MAC Cosmetics and I worked there for 4 years. And when we weren't busy, all I would do was just stand there and I would mix blushes together and lip glosses and I would come up with different ideas and different products that I would love to create. And it never even seemed like a reality for me because I was working at MAC and I didn't have money at the time. Like it was just like an exciting dream, right? It was a pipe dream. Then YouTube came along and my dreams just kept getting closer and closer to me. I started doing collabs. I started seeing the revenue and the income that was bringing in. And I was like, oh my God, I could actually, like my dream could come true. Like my little girl dream could come true. Like I could create my own cosmetic line. Like this is like insane that I even had the resources and the ability and the following to have the opportunity to do. And so I did it. I fulfilled that dream by doing everything that I thought possibly was right to create JACLYN Cosmetics. And
so she's given you the childhood story. It was her dream, her lifelong dream to create a cosmetics line. She wanted to open up a salon where she did makeup and hair and took photos and all that, right? Cute. That existed, and that's okay to have that dream. You know, if you love cosmetics so much, like, yeah, dream about it. She mentioned she worked at MAC for 4 years. You know, she didn't have the resources for that brand. So when she started doing YouTube and the revenue was coming in, she was like, ooh, I got money. I can do this now. Like, I can make this a reality, right? All right, let's keep going.
I had so many people tell me, don't call it JACLYN Cosmetics, you know, in case it fails or in case you want to sell it one day. And I was so passionate. I was like, no, I'm naming it after me. This is JACLYN Cosmetics. Like, this is my heart and soul. I worked on that for years thinking that I literally crossed every T and dotted every I. And I thought that that lipstick launch was going to be my legacy. Like 18 nude shades in one launch. It literally had never been done before. And I thought that that was just going to be like, it was going to just like crack the earth. And that was going to be the beginning of my legacy. That was my little girl dream that was coming to reality. And who gets to experience a moment like that? Anyways.
Oh my God.
We all saw what happened with those lipsticks. And
is she crying again? See, now this is where it's manipulative, because why are you crying? Like, what are we doing here? But she's talking about how she's launching 18 nude lipsticks in one go. It's never been done before, which is not true. That has been done before. Becca did it. Hourglass has done it. Like various lines have launched like a full line of nude lipsticks. I think Bite even did it. So this was nothing new, but I think for her, it was a fitting launch. Like, let's be honest. She loves a nude lip. Her lips are always fantastic. Like, they look amazing. It's just like the Kylie lip kits, right? It made sense for Kylie to do those lipsticks because that's what she was touting. That's how people knew her. They were like, oh my God, what are you wearing on your lips, right? And she came out with the liquid lipstick lip pencil duo because she was using MAC lip pencils to accomplish it, right? So JACLYN coming out with a nude lipstick line made sense. Like, it was so perfect for her. I'm not gonna lie, it was a fitting launch. And then it backfired because she was using shortcuts, right? She was trying to get them out as quickly as possible. She had a launch date in mind. She went with a crappy lab that did a shitty job at quality control and quality management. There were no checks and balances, right? Because it was a rushed job. And it ended up biting her in the ass. It ended up crashing and burning because people were getting contaminated lipsticks and it crashed and burned. And I mean, come on. Honestly, I can see how that was heartbreaking to see that happen when this was your dream. And I don't think that she's lying when she says it was heartbreaking, because imagine you have this dream of launching your brand, even if you're in it for the money, which, I mean, come on, you're in it for the money, right? But you want it to be successful. Like, you've been hyping this up for years, and when you finally do it, it's like a disaster. Like, that would break my heart as well. Like, oh my God, right?
Like I said, although I make jokes about it, it still haunts me all the time.
And it would haunt me too.
Opening up and starting these other brands. Had to take a little break to gather myself. Whew. So after my lipstick launch happened and things obviously did not go as planned, I honestly became zombie-like. I did the absolute bare minimum as a founder and CEO. I just relied on my team to just kind of like float me through everything I fell into.
I want to say something here, all right? You see how she says a founder and a CEO, even though court documents that were uncovered during the Forma bankruptcy case reveal that she was not the owner or CEO of JACLYN Cosmetics, right? Let me tell you something right now that people have not realized, all right? She can say she's an owner and CEO because it's true. It's true. It's true. She's not lying when she says that. It is true. All right. So I did some digging. JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, LLC, was founded in 2014. Stand by. I have it all pulled up on my phone. Don't overheat, camera. Do not overheat. Right. So JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, LLC, was established in August 2014. And it's still, okay, it's still alive and well as of January 2023. They have their annual report and everything. It was filed in Tampa, Florida. So JACLYN Hill Cosmetics is her brand. She is the owner. Under the title AMBR, you will see her name and her address. I'm not going to give all of that out because that's not right. But I was like, what does AMBR mean? Girl, the camera done overheated. I had to cool it down. But here's the thing. Let me talk fast, all right? So JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, LLC, is a Florida limited liability company established in 2014. And like I said, we have annual reports straight up to 2023 this year, okay? The registered agent under this is JACLYN Hill with her address, which again, I'm not going to give that detail away. But the AMBR, like I was saying, is also JACLYN Hill. And you're like, what's an AMBR? So in Florida, under the LLC laws, a AMBR is an authorized member and is the owner of the LLC. They can also be called a CEO, and then you have MGR, which is like a manager, right? So they're hired to manage the operation of the LLC, but the official owner is the AMBR, all right? Managing member. So just know that. So technically, she owns the brand JACLYN Hill Cosmetics. Now, here's the kicker. Her title manager is Nicholas Eilers, who is her relative, right? So remember, she says the company's family-owned, family-run. It's true because that is a family member of her, all right? Then in addition to that, I was like going through the Kool-Aid, you know, as you do. And we find that there's a warehouse that she owns also in Tampa, Florida, right? And that warehouse was bought in 2021 under JACLYN Hill LLC. So she purchased the warehouse. She still owns the warehouse and the LLC, JACLYN Hill Cosmetics. And then in addition to that, all the trademarks that were filed for JACLYN Cosmetics. Remember now, JACLYN Cosmetics, we have JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, which is the one that JACLYN Hill owns, right? JACLYN Cosmetics, JACLYN Holdings is the one that's owned by Forma. So if there's a Hill in it, that's owned by JACLYN directly. So under the JACLYN Hill Cosmetics LLC, she's filed a couple of trademarks. And remember, JACLYN Hill Cosmetics is owned by JACLYN Hill. All right, so she is the owner, managing member, CEO, all of that, right? She owns JACLYN Hill Cosmetics. Under that LLC, she has filed trademarks for JACLYN Hill and JACLYN Cosmetics. Remember that, because that comes into play. She's also filed trademarks for JACLYN Roxanne, which is under its own LLC. So she created a separate LLC for the JACLYN Roxanne. Again, she owns this LLC. So this is her brand and her trademark as well, right? Now I'm looping it back to the Morphe bankruptcy filing, right? If you go to the Morphe bankruptcy filing, there are brands listed under the filing that have also filed for bankruptcy, which is why JACLYN hasn't said she's filed for bankruptcy, because technically she hasn't. Forma has filed for bankruptcy, right? The case has been resolved. They were acquired by one of their larger creditors, blah, 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 blah. But under the filing, they have a list of the brands, right? And the list of those brands under Forma include Forma Brands, LLC, Morphe, LLC, Simo, LLC, JACLYN Cosmetics Holdings, LLC. See, okay? Such Good Everything, LLC, Playa Products, Inc., and JACLYN Cosmetics, LLC. Notice there's no JACLYN Hill Cosmetics. So, under the filings, we discovered that JACLYN Hill does not own JACLYN Cosmetics, LLC, or JACLYN Cosmetics Holdings, LLC. Right? And you're probably just associating that brand with her because it's her name, right? That's what she's been saying. It's her brand. It's her name. She's the CEO. She's the owner. No, 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 no. She owns the trademarks, okay, under JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, LLC. And she has sold the licensing to Forma Brands, all right? So they can hold it under JACLYN Cosmetics, LLC, and JACLYN Holdings, LLC. You see? Do you see what's going on? You see what's going on? It's like this legal loophole, and it's all about semantics, right? So she owns JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, LLC. But she's trademarked JACLYN Cosmetics under that LLC, which she has then licensed under Forma, so they can do the product distribution, they can market the products, they can sell it, they can earn the profits, and then pay her as a collaborator, right? Or pay her for the licensing. You see how that goes? Yes. So when Morphe listed all their debt and their creditors, JACLYN Hill Cosmetics was listed as one of them, as well as JACLYN Hill herself, right? Yeah, I know. So JACLYN Cosmetics owes JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, right? And JACLYN Cosmetics Holdings owes JACLYN Hill Cosmetics. So that's how it all coordinates and syncs up. So those brands that she sold the license for to Forma, they owe her money for that, all right? So that's how it all ties together. But technically, she can still claim to be a brand owner and CEO because she owns the branding, she owns the brand name, but she sold the license to Forma, and they're paying her for the use of that license and also for like collaborating and whatever effort she puts towards like selling the products and all that, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of legalese behind it that I don't understand, but that is how I assume that she's getting away with saying she's a CEO brand owner, because technically she is. It's all semantics, right? She owns JACLYN Hill Cosmetics, and she has sold licensing to Forma Brands to market under JACLYN Cosmetics, and she owns the trademark. You see? It all flows together, child. It all flows together. And I'm sure at the onset, it was a great idea, right? I'm going to go with Forma, who is an incubator. And Forma is very open about saying that. They collaborate with brand owners, just like how they're doing with Playa, right? Just like how they were doing with Ariana Grande, right? They help to incubate these brands. They help with the marketing. They help with working with vendors that they already have these relationships with. They have all these manufacturers they work with, distributors, you know, wherever they're getting their raw materials. Like, they have all these connections. The network is there for them to build your brand under it. So they acquire the licensing, however they acquire it. If you're just going to be the license holder or you're going to be a collaborator, however they want to finagle it, which we saw with Ariana Grande, right? She was able to repurchase her license from them and go off on her merry way, which I'm sure JACLYN Hill could have done too. She already owns these trademarks, so technically she could probably still sell under the JACLYN Cosmetics name, depending on how she wants to approach things and how it works out legally with Forma Brands, right? Anyway, I wanted to give you that background because a lot of people don't know that information. They're just going with the JACLYN Cosmetics is owned by Forma Brands. Yes, it's licensed under Forma, but technically the brand name is owned by JACLYN Hill. Still, okay? So she gets away with saying exactly that. And that's her out. And honestly, she can get away with it because it's true. Like, she's not lying. She's just using the play on words and the play on all the brand names and all the trademarks and all this ownership to, like, throw y'all for a loop. But anyway, I wanted to give y'all that background. And yes, JACLYN Hill Cosmetics is registered in Tampa. She also owns the warehouse for JACLYN, Roxanne, and then the Cozy brand as well, right? Let me change the angle, child, because this thing was focusing on my steering wheel. But yeah, she owns the warehouse. There's a warehouse under JACLYN Hill Cosmetics that she owns that does some distribution for JACLYN Roxanne, which is the jewelry line, and then the Cozy brand, right? Just letting y'all know, all under JACLYN.
Such a depression. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. Like, I turned to alcohol. That's when I gained well over 40 pounds, like that, just because I was not taking care of myself in any way, shape, or form. The way I handled the lipsticks is the biggest regret of my entire life, ever. Like, launching them, that was a shitty situation, you know? But the way I handled it is my biggest regret ever, because it's not just like I gave up on cosmetics. I gave up on myself. I gave up on my little girl dream. I gave up on me. And I felt like such a failure. And instead of picking myself up, getting back up, getting myself together, I just relied on a lot of people who honestly were in my life at the time, and they were yes men. I was surrounded by yes men. I was surrounded by people who were kind of telling me what to do, almost like robotic. And that's when I decided to create 2 new brands instead of...
Stand by. So she says her biggest mistake, which people have been harping on, her biggest mistake was not the launch of the lipsticks, okay? That was a shitty situation. But it's how she handled it, because she went into a depression and she just shut down, and she ain't like the way she handled it because she gave up on her little girl dream. It's like, what happens to a dream deferred, right? Raisin in the Sun reference if you don't know. And she's like, oh, I gave up on myself and I gained all this weight and I turned to alcohol. So that's your biggest mistake? Like, we're talking about your brand's closing and your biggest mistake was you turning to alcohol for dealing with the fuck up. Like, all right, whatever, let's carry on. Then she says she was surrounded by yes men. Another criticism that she's gotten. People have accused her of just having yes men around her. Her family that coddle her and just say, yes, 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 JACLYN, this is awesome, right? But she uses the term in the wrong context. So it's just like, okay, it's a catchphrase, it's a keyword that you're using in the video because you've been accused of having yes men, but then the way you use it is not right, because what you're using it to say is that people were just there supporting you opening your own brand. So it's not the same thing, honey.
Pouring myself back into cosmetics, taking accountability and not giving up on myself, I decided, well, gotta create new brands, gotta prove myself to my followers that, you know, I'm a bad bitch and I can do this. And I'll be honest, you guys, like, just keeping it real, I kind of feel like it was a pressure that was put on me in the sense I put on myself of, like, all of my peers, they all have brands. Like, that's what you do. Like, you create a YouTube channel, you get the income, and then you create your own brand, something that can make you money going forward. And I looked around and I see everybody, you know, it's like Manny, Laura, Desi, Katie, all these people who are in the same space as me at the same time are all creating brands. And to me, it looks like they're thriving. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do it too. And
so you okay, Coke. Okay, hold up. So now she's saying, instead of addressing the issues with the makeup launch, she went ahead and started 2 new brands to prove to her fans that she's a bad bitch, and she put that on herself because she saw her other like counterparts in the industry doing that, right? They created their own brand, so she had to do it too. Hold up. She said a couple of things that were true, but then lumping it all together makes no sense. So, one, she said she had to prove that she was a bad bitch. Okay, no one called you a bad bitch but yourself, because she was, I'm a bad bitch. You know, she did all these little videos in her, what is that? The office building. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a CEO. So she platforms herself as that, right? She creates this persona. She's doing it, right? She's a girl boss. Like, she put that all on herself. And then she's saying, oh, I gotta prove it to my fans. Okay, so now you created the persona, you have to live up to it, so you're blaming the fans because now you gotta show and prove. Plus, then you're saying all your peers were doing it, like they were thriving, so you had to do it too. So are we calling it peer pressure? Because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're saying you yielded to peer pressure and you felt like you had to do it to prove yourself instead of like following what you really wanted and following your dreams. Not factoring in that you were really chasing the money. It was all about the money. Because let's be fair, okay? When you open a brand, it's about the money.
That's really another thing that I fucked up on, a decision that I made that ended up hurting me, because at the end of the day, guys, I don't really want to be a brand owner. I know that so many people thrive doing that. There's people and personalities out there that like a Kim Kardashian. Like, I think that's what makes them happy, is like just to like create more and more brands. And for me, that's not it. Like, I was my happiest doing makeup, working on JACLYN Cosmetics, doing collabs, and just having a relationship with my followers, honest to God. And that's what it comes down to, is these brands are not serving me anything. They're not bringing me happiness. And I don't care about the money at this point. I've gotten to the age. I definitely went through a phase where it's like money was a driver, fame was a driver, and that no longer is even part of my desires in life. I'm just craving happiness and mental stability and clarity. And I've been so lost due to the decisions that I've made surrounding my cosmetic line and leading into JACLYN Roxanne and Cozy. So I have made the decision on my own to shut these brands down, because it's time to own up to my shit and own up to myself what makes me happy and what I want, and also share with you this as well. Because
y'all, not her giving you the truths and a lie situation. So she says she was happy doing collaborations and working with brands, but she didn't want to be a brand owner. She didn't like it. Other people thrive off of it, but she didn't enjoy it. And let's be honest, okay? Being a brand owner and a CEO is not an easy job. You're responsible for so much, making so many decisions. You're always in meetings, like it's nonstop. It's a lot of responsibility. So I think she's telling the truth. She didn't want to be a brand owner once she realized what was involved. She was like, ooh, child, this is too much work. I don't want to. I was happy just collaborating. And to be fair, collaborating with brands, from my experience, I've done 2 collaborations, was really easy. Really easy, all right? With Odin's Eye, oh my God, it was the easiest thing ever. They did the concept, right? They had an idea and they brought it to me, and then I gave them feedback on the idea. Like, all right, I would change this, I would tweak this. How about we like tie it together this way? And then I gave them like the colors that I was thinking for the color story. They chose the shades, sent them to me, right? I sent them like swatches from my collection of colors that I was thinking about, but they did like the formulation. They sent me the shades. I swatched out the shades. I decided which ones I liked, which ones needed to be tweaked. Did I need to make this a little bit more shimmery, add a little bit more orange here? Like, I did that part, like the playing and makeup part, the creating the color story part. They did the artwork of the palette. They did the layout, the design. Like, I worked on names, okay? And then they did the manufacturing, the production. Like, they did all of that. They did the shipping, the sale, and whatever. And then I got my cut as the collaborator. Easiest thing ever. Easy. It was great. I love the creative aspect of it. Like, I didn't have to go to a lab and do all of that, right? I just play with colors and sent them my feedback, and then they tweaked what I asked for. And it was fantastic, right? So I know what she's talking about. It's so easy to collaborate with a brand and let them deal with the business side of things. Let them deal with ordering the palettes. Let them deal with distribution. Let them deal with the sales, the shipping, all of that, right? Leave me out of it. But now She owns the brand. She got to worry about all of this, right? She got to do the creative designs, like make all the decisions, approve the launches, like meet with the contractors, meet with the suppliers, all of these things, right? And she's like, bitch, I don't want to. She's got to deal with employees, be on meetings. Like, she's like, I am tired. And I get it, girl. You want to lay back in Tampa, relax in your multi-million-dollar mansion and just vibe, because we saw that she loves a good vibe. She likes to hang out with her friends, do karaoke, watch movies, hang out with her dogs, hang out with her family. She don't want to do no work. Ain't nobody, she wants a soft life, girl. She wants a soft life. And I can't be mad at it because I don't want to work either. I want a soft life. But she didn't realize what came with owning a brand. And I think a lot of these creators don't realize that, right? Even viewers, even you guys that are watching us and you're like, oh, when are you going to start your brand? I would love to see what you create. Girl, I don't want no brand. I don't want no parts of owning a brand. I don't want no parts of owning a company. I want a soft life, okay? I don't want to be responsible for anybody's W-2s and their livelihoods and their benefits and their healthcare. No, I don't want any parts, girl. Let somebody else do it. Get somebody else to do it. No, I don't want it. Like, for real. And you know who's a good example of this? Huda Kattan from Huda Beauty. She realized, right, she was doing videos. She was a content creator. She was doing videos. She opened her own brand. She was a part of the creative process. And then she said, this company is growing too much. They're doing too much. I need to step down as CEO and let someone who is established, experienced, being a CEO, let them do it. So she got somebody to be her CEO while she just focused on the creative aspect of her brand. And that was such a fantastic business decision because she realized what her strengths were and what her weaknesses were. And she hired out. She hired other people to run the business. And look how huge Huda Beauty is. It's in Sephora. It's booming. Like, she makes a ton of money. And the brand has expanded into fragrance, which people have been loving. Kayali, right? She's even done like the offshoot where it's like a little mini sister brand. She's really succeeding as like the creative person behind the brand rather than being the CEO. And JACLYN should have done exactly that, because I feel like if her brand was structured, and I mean, you know what? She was probably trying to do that with Forma. Have Forma handle all of this, right? Handle it. And I'll do the creative collaborative part. I'll sell you my license. You'll pay me. Okay, pay me. But they haven't paid her, child. They owe her millions of dollars. Can you imagine? Can you imagine they owe you millions of dollars, girl? But she was trying to do that with Forma. Like, that's how she started out. But then she decided, oh, she got to be a bad bitch CEO, like girl boss, and open up JACLYN Roxanne and then the Cozy line. We didn't even get into that yet. But she opened up those two brands and she was like, no, this is too much work. I want a soft life. I want to be a soft CEO. I don't need any of this drama. Girl, she was like, nah, I'm not trying to play this game. And she said, I give up.
I'm my happiest doing makeup, working on JACLYN Cosmetics, doing collabs, and just having a relationship with my followers, honest to God. And that's what it comes down to, is these brands are not serving me anything. They're not bringing me happiness. And I don't care about the money at this point. I've gotten to the age. I definitely went through a phase where it's like, money was a driver, fame was a driver, and that no longer is.
That's the other truth, right? She admitted that, yes, she's going after the money and the fame. And I mean, she's older now too. So I don't think she's necessarily 100% lying when she says money doesn't mean as much to her. But I think what she's really saying is that I'm too stressed out. I can't do it anymore. I still want to make money, but not the way I've been going about it. So I'm about to shut these companies down, these brands. Nah, somebody else can do it. Nah, I'm not trying to do it. I don't want no parts, right? Because she was busy buying Chanel bags and all these custom cars, buying her mansion and living her best life, okay? All this jewelry, all these diamonds that she owns. You think them cheap? You think them things cheap, girl? And all our closet, look at our closet, all the expensive purse and shoes and clothes. It's not cheap, so she loves the money. Let's not do that. You love the money. You just don't like working too hard for the money, because she's still posting affiliate links that makes her a killing. Those Amazon links, she's making a mint off of those affiliate links. Like, she's literally making 6 figures a month just from affiliate links. So don't let her fool you. She's still all about the money, but she's realizing that having to pay everybody, having to fund her brands, having to pay the rent and the mortgage and all those overheads, right, for employees and like distribution and all of that, she's like, that return on investment with the stress ain't worth it. I'm not making the profit margin that I want to continue my lifestyle, right? Because she wants to buy all the expensive things, earn the profits, but she doesn't realize that a business girl, you got to invest back into the business. So you can't be just taking all the profits and putting it in your pocket. You got to reinvest, right? So she's like, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to make my money with collaborations and brand deals. I don't want to do nothing else, child.
Even part of my desires in life. I'm just craving happiness and mental stability and clarity, and I've been so lost due to the decisions that I've made surrounding my cosmetic line and leading into JACLYN, Roxanne, and Cozy. So I have made the decision on my own to shut these brands down because it's time to own up to my shit and own up to myself what makes me happy and what I want, and also share with you this as well, because I've always been the person for the past 10 years online to tell you to do what makes you happy, to follow your dreams, and you know, I thought that creating these brands was the right idea. I was in a fog at the time. I was just like, okay, sure, we're now gonna create jewelry. Don't get me wrong, you guys, I love jewelry and I love my jewelry. Look, I'm wearing it all right now. Like, I'm proud of it. Cozy right here. Literally, I've got my blanket with me at all times. Softest blanket ever. Love it. I love it. I'm proud of it, but I'm not excited about it. And that's the thing. It's like, I get excited over cosmetics. I'm not excited over these things. And I kind of had this like aha moment recently where I'm like, I don't want to be known as the cozy girl. I don't want to be known as the blanket girl. I don't want to be known as the jewelry girl. Like, that's not supposed to be my legacy. My legacy was supposed to be cosmetics. That's what I've loved since I was a kid. Like, that was my original dream, was something in the makeup creative space. And at this time of my life, I just want to get back to that. That's just what I desire. And I hope that my honesty and vulnerability with you guys, I hope that it helps some of you in the sense of, you don't have to feel like you have to do it all. Some people,
she's just telling you, I've been honest and vulnerable, so I hope it helps somebody. Girl, stop it. Stop it, okay? She's like, I'm chasing happiness now. I'm not chasing the money. Girl, I just realized, like, recently, it wasn't recent, okay? Shutting down a brand is a decision that takes a while. It doesn't just happen overnight, all right? It's not like I get up today and be like, you know what? I'm not happy with this. I'm closing it down. Like, listen, she went through the ringer, and they were looking over their financials, the books, and she was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and shut this down.
Jay broke.
Let's taper it off. Let's like back it off. Let's taper to a halt, all right? We don't need to be doing all this. I don't want to do this anymore. So don't let her deceive you into thinking that this was a decision that was made recently, all right? This was probably something that has been in the works for at least the last 6 months, okay? Because she has to think about severance packages. And remember, Morphe and Forma was going through the whole bankruptcy case, right? The whole filing. So I think that happening initiated her closing down the brands, because the money that she was getting from her collaboration with Morphe, because remember now, she's seeing profits only off of JACLYN Cosmetics. She's only seeing profits. She is not handling the day-to-day. So whatever she's seeing is completely off the top. She can put it back into her lifestyle and into her other brands, right? So the minute that cash cow got cut, like, it was cut off, because they are still working on the agreement now with the restructured Forma brands, right? So now they have to have a new agreement in place, and I don't know if that has been finalized yet. Everything just kind of happened with the creditors taking over and like restructuring the brand and the management and all that. So all these agreements need to be renewed. So whatever agreement they have made, maybe it's not panning out as well for her as the previous agreement, you know? So what I'm thinking is the bankruptcy case, the bankruptcy filing with Forma brands initiated this whole thought process, because she's like, all right, so now I'm not getting that cash from Forma for JACLYN Cosmetics. How am I going to handle my other brands? And I think that's what kind of started this whole domino effect, right? So no, sweetie, you didn't figure this out that you were chasing happiness yesterday. No,
like me, it's like,
this started with the bankruptcy
that I oversee. You know, I don't want to be on Zoom calls all day, every day. Like, I want to do something creative. I want to work with my hands. Like, I want to... you get it. I also just want to say, because it's something I've wanted to say, just like loud and proud with my chest, is that I feel like my social media is just, it almost looks like one big brand deal. Because I've got these 3 brands, and in order to pay for the salaries and keep my warehouse open and everything that it takes to run a business here in Tampa, like, I have to have launches all the time, and I've got JACLYN Cosmetics, and I've got Ulta promos, and it's like, I feel like I'm just always pushing product in your face, and I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so over it. Like, I can't stand, I feel like a salesman, and it's just not me, and it feels icky. Even though I love these products, it's just too much. I just jumped into the dive-in without floaties, and I don't know how to swim, and that's how my life has felt for the past couple of years. And honestly,
You see how she says that her Instagram feed, like her social media, feels like a big brand deal? That's not new. That's not new. That's been from the jump. Before she had these brands, it has always been about JACLYN Hill, the salesperson. From the Saint Tropez Tannin Mousse, was it Saint Tropez or Love and Tan that she used to use? Like, this is way back in the day. I started following JACLYN like way back when she just started, right? On her floor doing makeup looks, right? While she was still working at MAC. She had this Love and Tan, was it Love and Tan? It was this tan that she used to pretty much sell because she had like an affiliate code with them. People don't remember that, but this tannin mousse, she also had like Sigma brushes. She was doing Sigma deals, and then she had Morphe, but people aren't remembering that she had Gerard Cosmetics, Sigma, and that tannin thing way back then. So she was still doing brand deals and collaborations and getting discount codes even back then. Then she did Makeup Geek, she did the Becca thing. Like, it was a whole thing. She's always been a salesperson. From the jump, she's always been. She's one of the first people that did affiliate links and affiliate codes, okay? She was a part of that gold rush of influencers. So she's always been selling. From day one, she's always been selling. And I mean, that's inherent when you work at MAC, you're a salesperson. So she's just always been on that kick. And now she's coming out and saying, yeah, I feel like it's just one big brand deal. Meanwhile, what she really means to say, she's using another key phrase that people have accused her of or criticized her about, because people have said that everything is just one big brand deal for her. Her Amazon links, all her favorites, like everything, every video, every post is about selling. And then she'll come in and be like, oh, everybody has been asking me about this cup from wherever the hell, what is that? Stanley Cup. Like, oh my god, here's my link. Oh my god, look at my earrings, here's my link. This lip color, everybody's been asking me about, here's my link. Everything is a brand deal because you want it to be, and that you're making a mint off of these affiliate links. So don't do us. Don't do me, okay? It's such a great defense mechanism, and I have been guilty of that. If I say the negative thing about me first, then I take your power away, right? So your ammunition to call me like a shill, I'm taking that away because I'm saying it about myself, right? So if I come on camera, right, and I'm like, oh my god, my skin is so messed up today, my hair is a mess, like, don't mind this, you know, don't mind this pimple right here. I am taking away your power, right, to criticize me, because I've already said it about myself. So now if you criticize me, you sound petty, like, you look petty because I've acknowledged it about myself. So you saying it is just you being critical, and that's what she's doing right here. She's letting y'all know that, yeah, my Instagram, my social media has been just this one big brand deal, and I feel it and I don't like it. People have been saying this about you nonstop, and you're just using it now as your retort. Like, it's your weapon now, because if you use it first, they can't use it against you.
But keeping it real, I feel very scared to be super vulnerable. That's one of the reasons why I created JACLYN's Journey, because it was kind of like something that I could slip in on my YouTube channel to try to get like that human connection back with you guys, with my followers. Sorry, there's a fuzzy. That was kind of me testing the waters, because I do get so scared of people's opinions and backlash on my life, whatever it may be. There's just negativity, and it makes it so hard for me just to be vulnerable and open and honest with you guys, because I'm just so scared of what people are going to have to say. And I hate that. I just want to get back to creating content.
Again, she is addressing the criticism, right? She's putting it out there that she knows that people are critical of her, right? So she's given ammunition to herself and also to her followers and her fans. So when they defend her, they can be like, oh, you know, you're making her afraid of sharing her life and being vulnerable with us because you criticize her so much, right? Not really acknowledging the fact that she is placing herself in this position to seem like a victim, and that you will defend her and rescue her because she's framing herself as this little dove, right? That needs your protection.
Something that has nothing to do with pushing my brands. Oh, somebody told me yesterday, and I love this analogy, that I took the wrong exit on the highway. And now I'm making a U-turn. I'm getting back on the highway. And I was like, whoa, that really resonated with me so much. And it's like, honestly, like, I'm kind of backpedaling. You know, it's like people are like launching brands and like finding all this success through social media, and here I am like shutting my brands down. It's very humbling. It's it's been hard to get to this point where I'm just like okay with that, where I'm like, I'm okay with the fact that I'm closing down these brands and the internet might have a lot to say about it, but like I'm doing this for me. I want to get back to what makes me happy, and I've never been happier in my life, like my business life and my career, than when I was just simply creating content. And I miss it so much. I do want to take a moment to
You see how she's like, oh, I want to get back to creating content. Another criticism, because people have always been on her about making the content. That's what they fell in love with her for. Like her tutorials, her makeup videos. Those were the videos that like really gave her her fame. And they want her to go back to that. Like, where's the old JACLYN? And she's trying to frame it like, yeah, I'm going to have to go back to that because, child, I'm closing down these brands. But I'm chasing happiness. I'm not chasing the parasocial relationship. Like, I'm chasing my happiness, right? Yeah, right. Okay.
naming of my brand Cozy, because there's been a lot of talk about it. And although I have not addressed it publicly, does not mean that I'm not handling it privately. It's really something I wish the internet would be more aware of, is that you only see moments and minutes throughout my entire week in my life, but behind the scenes is where everything is actually happening. So although I may not address something, does not mean that it's not keeping me up at night and something that I am constantly dealing with and obsessing over and trying to make right. I just want you guys to keep that in mind. What you see here on camera is just a tiny, tiny glimpse into what my life actually looks like. So as a lot of you guys may know, there's a Canadian creator, and she had an online digital platform called All Things Coze. And Coze was spelled the same way as my brand Koze. So at the time, I hired a trademark attorney to make sure that whatever name my team and I came up with for my brand was going to be able to be used legally. We came up with over 100 different names. Everything was taken. We created names from scratch, taken. Everything was trademarked until we came up with the name Cozy, spelled Koze. My attorney told me, trademark is open. It's all yours. Great. Where I personally messed up as an owner, as a founder, as a CEO, was not doing my own due diligence on the social media side of things. I was not made aware that there was a smaller Canadian creator with an online platform that had that exact same spelling within the brand name. Until we had placed an order for everything, for the blankets, for the robes, for the pajamas, for the socks, for the slippers, and that's when I was made aware of the spelling being the same. The second that I was made aware of the situation, my team and I reached out to her directly to try to make this right, and we never heard back from her. And I completely understand why, because I would be pissed off if that was her as well. All right, the situation sucks. I'm just giving you my perspective of what happened behind the scenes of the camera. So I want to let you guys know.
This is like the only time she addresses JACLYN, okay? JACLYN Nicholson, who created the brand Everything Coze, where she talks about, like, you know, cozy things, blankets, candles, the lifestyle. She created this whole brand around Everything Coze, right? Coze spelled Koze. She has a large Instagram following. She's not a small creator. She is a Canadian creator. But you notice how JACLYN doesn't call her name? She says the brand name, but she doesn't actually say the creator's name. So I'm going to say it, and everybody has been saying it. JACLYN Nicholson, okay? And this girl reached out to JACLYN. I think she reached out in comments, not really in DMs or like emails or anything. That's how she kind of addressed the situation, because people were tagging her. So they were made aware, JACLYN Hill and her team were made aware of this brand owner, right? It was not trademarked. Yes, you're right. But, you know, this brand made you aware of it. And she just went ahead with the whole branding of her Cozy line, right? With the same spelling. And she just ran with it without any remorse, without addressing it with JACLYN. And she's saying she reached out to JACLYN. Now, JACLYN has since responded and said, all my emails, all my DMs, I never got a response. So I don't know who you talking to, who you reached out to, right? And JACLYN said she didn't want to be a part of the drama, so she's dropping it. She's not pursuing it legally because it's very expensive, even though she has a leg to stand on because she was using the brand name first. It's just too expensive. It's not worth it. She doesn't want the drama. She wants to live a soft life as well. So she just rebanded and let it go. But JACLYN is so underhanded with how she's stating it here. One, she doesn't even say her name. Like, she doesn't even give her that respect. I think that's underhanded and nasty. And she had made a video before where she made a comment, at least it was trademarked, about an It Cosmetics brush. And I'm like, you so nasty, because what she's saying is Cozy wasn't trademarked, so it was free for her to use, you know? And whatever. And Cozy could have still went on with JACLYN. She could have still kept going. But she's saying she would have been hidden in the algorithm, like the SEO on Google, the search term you search. You're going to find JACLYN before you find JACLYN. So, and JACLYN and JACLYN, it's like it's almost spelled the same way. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So, you know, JACLYN was like, you know, tag me out. I don't want no parts. Bye, right? And JACLYN is saying, well, you know, I reached out to her and she didn't respond, and I wouldn't respond either because I would have been upset. Trying to put the onus back on JACLYN, like, well, she didn't respond to me. We were trying to resolve it, but here she go not responding because she was hot and she was bitter. Like, What? And then she's also putting it on the lawyer saying, well, hey, lawyer told me I could go because there was no trademark, which is true, right? There was no trademark. So go ahead, girl, do your thing. So she's blaming the lawyer. She's also blaming JACLYN, and then kind of sneaking in like, oh, but that was my fault as a brand owner, as CEO. You see how she's like giving herself all these labels to put herself on a pedestal above JACLYN and saying, well, I should have done my research, but I didn't do it. That's the only onus she's taken. Like, that's the only thing she's owning up to. That's the only thing that she's saying that she did wrong. She's not apologizing to JACLYN. She's just like, girl, it's a part of business and therefore whatever, right? Nasty behavior. Nasty.
You can expect to see from JACLYN, Roxanne, and Cozy as these two brands are shutting down. It's not as easy as just going into the warehouse and turning off the lights and saying, everybody go home, the brands are closed. We have placed POs months and months ago that we are committed to. I also have a team of employees out here in Tampa at the warehouse. They depend on these salaries to feed their families. So it's not like I'm just laying everybody off and saying, we're done, go home. Everybody has a heads up. Everybody has a chance to figure out what they want to do.
I can't even bother. I'll tell you what happened for the rest of the video because my camera's about to overheat and I can't listen to her anymore. So she goes on to say, well, let's tell you what's going to happen with the rest of the brands. Like, that's how she cut it off talking about Cozy. She went right into, okay, well, the brands aren't going to shut down tomorrow. It's not right away. We're going to taper the business part of it down, you know. We're going to trickle in some new launches that are already in the works. You're going to see new products, but you're going to see sales, like business is still going to go on, you know. I'm pumping it out and we're getting rid of all the stock, like all of that got to go, and I got to pay the people and they got to figure out what they're doing, right? And then she goes into her food stamp story and I'm like, huh, y'all ain't tired of this food stamp story? Her parents were not poor. They had money to help her out. Food stamps, girl. Listen, I know people who've been on food stamp and it wasn't because they were dirt poor. It's like you qualify for food stamps based on your income. So get the food stamps. You acting like it's a bad thing. Shoot, I would take some food stamps. Like, don't be doing that. You were working at Mac and your husband, you were married, so it was dual income. Like, why weren't y'all working? Y'all out here pursuing the creative lifestyle and y'all want to live on your own. You should have lived at home and like lived off of that. But no, you here complaining about food stamps like it's not a situation that you put yourself in. Call up your mama, call up your daddy. You were still on good terms with him. The parents could have financed something. You telling me that your parents wouldn't have helped you out if you call them and be like, mommy, daddy, I'm kind of broke, help. And you had your husband's parents too. John Hill, rest in peace. Y'all could have called somebody. Y'all could have called somebody, but you're out here talking about how you were on food stamps, and then you went into Ulta during your lunch break at Mac because you wanted to play with the makeup, but you couldn't afford anything, so you felt bad. And now that your brand was in Ulta, like, oh my God, it was such a dream come true, but you didn't put your focus and energy into it. You didn't do the right thing. Listen, it wasn't your brand, it wasn't your license technically, so you could get away with that. And she's talking about how her team, yeah, the former brands team was managing everything. Like, they were worried about the market and all of this, pushing the contract with Ulta. Like, you were just sitting in the cut. But every launch, you were on your Instagram and TikTok and YouTube talking about it. So you were doing some promotion. It wasn't like you weren't doing anything. Girl, it's getting dark. It's hot. The camera overheating. Like, it's a whole situation. But anyhow, she's going on and talking about how she didn't really put herself into the brand launching at Ulta and all that, right? Even though Ulta believed in her, she didn't believe in herself, right? And then she goes into saying that she doesn't know the future of JACLYN Cosmetics. Yeah, you don't, because you don't own anything over there. You're just a collaborator. Like, obviously you're not gonna know anything, right? And it's a decision that, like I said, the new managing directors, whoever over at Forma, they need to make the decision on what's gonna happen with JACLYN Cosmetics. She has no control over it. Like, she's not running that aspect of that brand. So she's got to just sit in the cut and wait for decisions to be made. She's not a decision maker there, right? And then she goes into saying that it may shut down, you know, she doesn't know, and it is what it is. And it's like, yeah. Good job there, sweetie. But she's saying like it was because she didn't do much. Yeah, because you decided that. You decided to just do the licensing and you're gonna let them handle the business aspect of it. So Let's not play that game. And then she, of course, goes into her sales pitch, as she does with every video. She has to sell you something. She's talking about this new launch that's coming up. That's going to be one of her final launches with JACLYN Cosmetics, which is probably when the contract ends, right? The contract's ending, so she has this final thing she has to do. But it's this really innovative product. It's something that you've never seen before. The formula is so great. She's been working with her team. She just said she wasn't working on anything. She was doing bare minimum. The team was doing everything. Now all of a sudden she's been working on it so long. You lying. The team has been working on it. Okay, and they're coming out with some great product, and you can probably get it at a discount. So if you wanted to get it, girl. But she's here talking about how, well, we'll see what happens. I want to get back to me and my happiness, and she's telling you to follow your dreams and pursue your happiness, because that's what she's been preaching all day long. No, you've actually been preaching to be a girl boss, and now you're backtracking and saying, no, don't be a girl boss, because maybe it's not where the happiness lies, or the money. Like, it's not worth it over here. Lord have mercy. This video was just what I expected from JACLYN Hill. Let's be honest. I can't even say it was a surprise. I can't even say that it was like the craziest, messiest video. It's what I've come to expect from JACLYN Hill. She looked beautiful. She presented her woe is me story. And then she spoke about a new product launch. Like, come on, this is what I expect from JACLYN Hill at this point. And it's what she delivered. But it's just crazy to me how she tries to frame it as, oh, this was a personal decision. I made it myself to pursue my happiness because these brands weren't giving it to me anymore. I feel like I lost my way. It was supposed to be about makeup, and instead it became just about these brands to show and prove that I could do it, and all my peers were doing it, so now I had to do it. When in reality, what she really should have said is, listen, I was chasing the dollar, and then I realized that there's a lot of work in being a brand owner that I wasn't really prepared for, that I didn't go back and do like certifications, classes, a degree. Like, you could have gone to classes to figure out how to approach being a brand owner, like gone to seminars, like did your work on the back end to figure out how to really run a brand, instead of just jumping in it and just being like, okay, well, other people are doing it, I can do it too. Like, obviously you weren't cut out for it. Like, you see how these brands go under. They have the best intentions, but they're just not built for it. You should have pulled a Huda and got somebody else to do it, which she kind of did. She kind of did with JACLYN Cosmetics. She tried to have Forma do it, but they ain't know what they was doing over there either. So they tanked her brand, and she is trying to cover it up as, oh, I'm seeking happiness, when it's really like, yeah, the brands aren't as profitable as you thought. That $100 blanket and $70 socks, no, nobody's buying that. Ain't nobody got the money to be buying that. They're not buying these things as much as you wanted them to. And your jewelry that's turning next green, girl, you have lost a lot of your goodwill with people. You have lost a lot of that brand quality, you know, that was associated with you. Like, people thought you had quality products, but every launch is a problem. Like, everything, even her collabs, everything she touches was just a mess, even though she has said that everything she touches turns to gold. And it could have been true for a while, but it's like there was always some drama associated with her. And what she didn't realize is that her audience, they're gonna age out, right? And I think that's what's happening. Between the pandemic and people just getting older and priorities shifting, inflation the way it is, she didn't imagine the shift would happen in the market that would cause a shift in her profit margin, right? And that's exactly what happened. There was a shift. The revenue ain't there no more. It's not profitable to be a brand owner and sell all these products. So do something else, figure it out. And she didn't just want to admit that the brands weren't doing well. And because of the former bankruptcy, she had to back it up too, because at the end of the day, she was going under. And instead of filing for bankruptcy herself, she's just gonna shut down and save herself the embarrassment, which is, to me, that's what it really is. I'm gonna save myself the embarrassment of having to file bankruptcy. I'm just gonna shut down. She pulled a Marlena Stell, who kind of suffered under the JACLYN Hill, what do you call it now? The spell. Like, she fell under the JACLYN Hill spell and got bit in the ass, and her brand also went under. It wasn't JACLYN Hill's fault. Like, Marlena has to take a lot of ownership in that. But Marlena still had to shut down Makeup Geek because all these brands that were riding on the high of, like, when influencers were the thing on YouTube, it's no longer the name of the game. Like, no, makeup is no longer a priority. And I'm happy to see it, actually. I'm really happy to see makeup kind of tapering off because we were obsessed for so long, and it was a great ride. I loved every minute of it, but even I am changing. Like, my obsession is tapering off. I love makeup still, and I love making makeup content, but I'm not as obsessed as I was before. I'm not collecting all the things. There's so many new launches that I couldn't care less about. Like, for real though, like, who, what? Like, I don't care. And ooh, chill, girl. Hey, friend. I know him. That's my friend. He actually, he works in maintenance. And you know how the people that work on maintenance in, like, the complex, they have their own, like, subsidized apartments? Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, okay, the love of makeup is no longer there. The high point that was 2016, 2017, 2018, no. You don't see these bills? These bills are hella high, okay? We have bills to pay, girl. We have things to do. Makeup is not a priority anymore. And I think she should have been more honest with that. I do think she's pursuing happiness because, like I said, she wants a soft life. She don't want to work hard. She has not wanted to work hard, and that's fine. That's fine. I think more people are realizing, like, we're busting our ass and this hustle culture is not where it's at. But I think she's even a level up from that. Like, she genuinely does not want to work hard. She wants to make money the easiest way she can. And she realized that owning a brand was just too much work and too much effort with less and less profits. So those are my 2 cents. Y'all let me know what you think about JACLYN Hill. Okay, and her being an actual CEO, even though we laugh at it and say she's not a brand. Yeah, she's a brand owner. She's a CEO. It's just the semantics and the legalese of it all. But let me know what you think about her closing her brand down. I don't have any ill will towards any of these people, but I feel like what you put out into the universe tends to come right back around, and you've screwed over so many brand owners, and you're getting what's coming to you. Like, it's all coming back to you. Marlena Stell, okay, Kaylin Nicholson. There was another owner of the jewelry line. Oh my god, so I think this line is also at Nordstrom now with, like, the lariat necklace, the V necklace that she used to wear and she used to promote. All of a sudden, when she launched her brand, she created her own design off of that, like, copying that brand. Gerard Cosmetics, so Jen Gerard, she screwed over. Becca, like, all of that is coming back, right? And now you're experiencing it. But let me know what you guys think. I've talked enough. The camera's about to overheat. It's getting dark. The bugs are about to come out. Girl, let me end with the duckies. Oh my god, so one of my ducks, it's not my duck. It's my duck, but it's not my duck, right? It's community duck. So the duck had like 20 babies running around, right? But you know, ducklings, they die. Sickness, predators, all these things, right? So she had like 20 duckies, and 7 of them have survived to like a large duckling stage. And I'm like, oh my god. And you should see the little wings. So they have the little wings that are still growing, but they're at the age now and at the size now that I think they're gonna survive. Oh my god. So there are 7 of her duckies left, and I'm gonna leave you with that, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.